I just wanted to highlight a few of the features that I find are the most helpful across the widest range of users.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm starting with families, I almost always start showing them how to enable text-to-speech on whatever device they have, and it can be done for free on all devices. So whether you have an iPad, an iPhone, an Android tablet, a PC, a Mac, a Chromebook, for free, you can have text read out loud. And that can be extremely helpful for people who have, dyslexia or another reading deficit, a vision deficit, an attention deficit, just something that's too hard and you just can't pay attention, you're tired. I use it myself. And so any device can have text read aloud. There are just different ways to do it on each device. And so that's my free mini course. And I put a shortened link there, and it's just free, that I go through the different devices, not all of the devices, but a lot of them that I had access to, and just show people how to make it happen step by step.
Awesome. So now for those people that can't see the slides, if they're listening audio-wise, if they go to your website, are they going to be able to find, like if they do a search of text-to-speech, will they be able to find?
Yeah, if they just go to my website and scroll down a little bit, there's a big image saying a big image that has the name of the course, 5 Free Ways to Make Reading Easier. You just click on it and it takes you right there.
Great, that's perfect.
So it's easy to find.
Okay, awesome. Yes, text-to-speech. That's a huge revolutionary thing, and it has changed. And
the voices are much better, and it's also good for proofreading. So after you're not only reading or Word documents.
I'm always reading my own stuff out loud, so I need to have my computer do it.
Right. I use it to check. You have Grammarly, which is good, but it's also nice to make sure that it's said what you wanted it sounds to say.
Right. Yeah. Is this what I really said?
So that's text-to-speech, so having things read out loud to you. And then the other... And there are a lot of issues with that. It's like, when should you start using it with students? And
right.
I mean, there are a lot of hot topics that when I speak at schools, they'll ask me very specific questions. At what age? I think it's but you're all homeschooling, and so you can bypass a lot of these protocols that are in the schools. Some schools think you should not provide that to students unless there's a diagnosis of dyslexia. A lot of schools really treat this differently, but in the home environment, I think you need to keep in mind, what are you working on? Are you working on improving the skill of reading? Then you don't use that, right? But if you're unless it's a higher level skill where you're working on getting the main idea or inferencing and the child has decoding problems, well then maybe you do want to have it read out loud and then talk about inferencing and main idea and getting into deeper reading skills, critical reading skills.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and we've talked about that with parents too, is that the goals are what should determine your tech.
Right.
Yeah,
right. Definitely. But in the meantime, they can get exposed to higher level vocabulary than maybe they can read on their own, and a lot of different content that if you're holding them back and just having them read paper-based books at their level of decoding, they won't get that rich stimulation that they can if the books are being read out loud to them.
So true. Yes, I completely agree with that. Yeah.
So. And then the next slide here, I would say the second most common feature that is available for free on all devices that you just need to enable. It might be a matter, you might, like if you're on a PC and if it doesn't have a microphone, then you can't necessarily use it. But the speech to text. And so speech to text is something when you talk and it types. And most people think of Dragon Naturally Speaking that would cost hundreds of dollars, but this is just, it's so much better now. And a lot of people use it themselves, maybe on their phones to dictate a text message. You'll see in the keyboard often there's a little microphone there. And so you just touch it and you can talk and it types. But you can also use that as a teaching tool to help with writing. So it's not a perfect solution where you can, students, you show them how to do this, and if they have dysgraphia, they're going to automatically write a beautiful essay. But it's if you start with just real short answers and practicing the art of dictation and practicing punctuation and organization, and it also is a nice way to if you're working on speech and articulation,
Yeah, I can
you
see
can
that.
practice making the computer or the iPad or the phone, see if you can make it understand what you want to say, and make it
Yeah.
sort of a task out of that by itself.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. I'm always afraid to use it because I think, oh goodness, I'm going to say something and it'll change it to something else and then it'll send it to someone. I guess I got to get over that fear.
Yeah. But my favorite way I think I have this on another slide, but my favorite way is if I use Google Docs. If I'm in Chrome and I use Google Docs, there is a way for free, if you just go across on the toolbar, there's something that's called voice typing. And that's
really?
free dictation in Google Docs that's amazingly accurate. So I have a blog post. There's a link there, but if you go on my website, innovativespeech.com, and you look at the blog post, there's something called Dictation, speech to
It
text.
says, have your say with Dictation Technologies. So
yeah, have your say with Dictation Technologies is the name of the blog post.
Okay.
But it just talks about some strategies and how you might be able to benefit from it.